Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Danielle, but you can call me Dani. This is my very first makeup tutorial and I'm so excited about that. I'm just wondering, did I wait too long? So y'all tell me, what do you think? How does my makeup look? Yeah, I'm excited. So if for some reason you clicked on my channel, please subscribe. Click that bell notification so you can get notified every time I upload a video. Yeah, so if you like this look and is interested how I done it, just keep watching. Thank you. Alrighty, so let's get started. I've just sprayed my face with some of the Smashbox primer water. Yep, just for a little more hydration. And then next I'm going to just kind of pat that in with my Eco Tools blender. Just kind of get it a little pat in. And then next I'm going to go in with my Kane & Austin primer to it's prime and mattifying primer with SPF, and so hopefully this will help fill in some of these pores that I got going on, kind of blur and soften my skin a little bit. I really like this primer. I think it does a good job of blurring the skin. Since this is my first video, and you know, I'm going to title it, Did I Wait Too Long? Am I Too Old? I'm 40 years old, so this is my first makeup video. And yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is put on some foundation. And what I have is the All Hours foundation from YSL. It's one of my favorites. In the color BD50 Warm Honey. And I'm going to apply that with my It's Cosmetics brush. I think it's like the Luxe brush. I'm not sure what it's called. I've had it so long now. And I do about 2.5 pumps. And I'm just going to move in a little bit closer just to give you guys an idea of what my skin looks like. I have texture, I have pores, hairy face actually. So I shave, and this is shaved. This is just like, I don't know, hyperpigmentation above my lip. So normally, and I can do this for this video, is sometimes I'll go in with this LA Girl corrector, the orange corrector, and yeah, I'll just go in above that top lip and color correct this. And when I do this, a lot of times I'll just use my I'm looking at my mirror below my camera if you're wondering what I'm looking at, but I'll do this just with my finger just to kind of help just color correct that. And occasionally I'll do it with like some of the spots that's over here, but for the most part, just for my everyday makeup look, I don't do all this. So then what I like to do on top of that is go in with a little concealer. And just what I have with me is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin concealer in the color 40. It's like medium P403 or something like that. It's a few numbers on the back. And so I'll just do the same thing, dot it, and then I'll blend again with my fingers. So anyways, here's my pump on my brush, and I just go in and just start swiping. And yeah, because just some of my discoloration follows down my neck, I go ahead and I put coverage on my neck as well. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, so yeah, I like for my makeup to at least last for most of my shifts. Sometimes it don't, depending on how the night goes. But for the most part, I enjoy this coverage. So I'm going to try to recreate. I was in a wedding this past weekend, and I'm going to try to recreate the look that I did. I really liked it. And so I was like, well, here's my opportunity to kind of make my first video and do a look that I liked. So just coming in, I still have texture. That doesn't go anywhere for the most part for me. And I just like to kind of just go back with my damp blender, just kind of pat some of that in, and if I need to, I'll go in with the extra pump and kind of go on my cheeks, because sometimes that redness still kind of shows through on my cheeks. So just sometimes I like to go back in and just do an extra little pump, not even a full pump, just to kind of hit my cheeks a little bit. And yeah, just kind of blend that on out. Go over that little mustache area again. One thing I don't do is I don't do the concealer under the eye often, just because where I am older, it tends to settle in the fine lines that you get. So for the most part, if I do concealer, I just do just a little bit, and a lot of times I just kind of leave it in the corner of my eyes, if I can find where I laid it down at. Let's see. Yep, there it is. So if I do concealer, it's not a lot. It's just kind of here and here, maybe down the bridge of my nose a little bit. And then I'll just go ahead and highlight a little bit. I don't even really like to do a whole lot of highlighting, to be honest, but I will occasionally. And this isn't like, you know, very bright. It looks brighter on camera just looking at it, but in person it's not quite that bright. So, and then yeah, I just try to hit this little dark area that's kind of just in my socket a little bit, and just don't do a whole lot. And then just blend that out, just to give a little bit. And sometimes, you know, when I'm feeling fancy, I'll go in and maybe do like a brightening powder. Wet n Wild, I think, has like a banana powder that I use sometimes. It hasn't been a while, but yeah, I just don't do a lot of the concealing under the eye, the whole triangle deal. I don't do it. And then I'll go in with a little cream contour, and this is Wet n Wild, and it's just a makeup stick, contour stick. Yep. Put a little bit under my lip. Sometimes I want to get this jawline, sometimes I don't. So I didn't always wear makeup. Really just started kind of getting into makeup when I started working night shift as a nurse. And on my days off, just not being able to sleep and roaming YouTube, and just kind of started watching the makeup tutorials, and that's really how it all started for me. I used to wear a lot like foundation, maybe some mascara, not a whole lot of eyeshadow, really no blush, just because I was like, blush, you know, old ladies wear blush. So I didn't really do a whole lot of blush, definitely no contouring. That was definitely not in my life. Just kind of sit here a while, and then I'll take my Marc Jacobs bronzer in Fantastic, the Omega bronzer. And this is what I like to go around and try to set everywhere that I put the bronzer. And I like this bronzer because it's not like intense. I'm not gonna look all dirty at the top. And I'll go through and take a bigger brush and just kind of fluff all this out. But I like the bronzer just because it doesn't, I don't think it muddies you. It keeps you kind of just nice and bronze and just not muddy, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna go on down my neck a little bit. And I hope the lighting's okay, so you can kind of just see how everything's kind of sitting on the skin. Alrighty. And then next, and the brush that I use for that is just another e.l.f. brush that I really like for the contour. It's got that nice little angle, and you can kind of also contour the cheeks as well. as you can, you know, just putting on your bronzer. Let me hit this hairline a little bit better. Yep. Alrighty, so the next thing I like to do is my brows, and I like to use the Maybelline Precise Brow, and I think I use the soft brown, and it's dual ended. It's got both the spoolie end and the liner end. And I don't know, I like to do my brows after I get my foundation on. Kind of what I like to do. I know some people do their brows before, but I don't do all the correcting and stuff that I do sometimes, but just every day I don't do the whole cleaning up and correcting my brows. So I like to keep it as natural as possible. So as natural and possible as drawn on brows can look. So, yeah. And it just gives a nice little, it's not a lot of tugging on the skin. I don't have to apply a lot of pressure. And it allows me to kind of create some little fake little lines. And I have, you know, pretty decent thick lash brows, but there are some areas that, you know, just seem like it doesn't have a lot of hair. So I like to just kind of go in and fill those in, and then as I go, I just take the spoolie end and kind of feather it out on the ends a little bit more, and then just go down my brow. And then if I feel like I need to go back in with a little bit more product, I do. So, and just to kind of correct the shape a little bit too, I'll go back in with a little bit of product. So. Yeah. It looks like I should have put some chapstick on before I started this video. A little late for that, but it's okay. So now I'm just going to brush away some of this powder. I think it's been setting long enough. And I'll go back in and we'll blend a little bit more once I get like my blush on. And this is just a Urban Studio big fluffy brush, nothing special. So for my blush, hopefully I brought it up here. I did. Okay. I'll be using, this is just a Milani blush, and I can't remember the name of it because it's worn off, because I really love this blush. So, but yeah, it's just a really pretty peachy blush, and I like it. So I just like to swirl it, tap it off, and then just hit the apples of my cheeks. I don't know if you can really see it, but it has a real nice little sheen to it. I like it. I think it's pretty. I have another little blush pot of theirs that's like a deep burgundy, but it's just really it's too dark for my skin tone. But occasionally I'll like tap it and wipe it off, you know, wipe off the excess so it's not so dark on me. And then for highlight, I still have this palette. I don't know how many people still use it, but it's the Glow Sugar Kit by Anastasia. So I still like this one. I think it's still very, it's a very good highlighter. I have some others, but I always end up going back to this one for some reason. And I don't do a whole lot of highlighting on occasion. Sometimes I will, you know, my sisters will be like, "Ooh, you blinking," but yeah, get that lip. I don't know if you can see it. sometimes I like to do my blush before, just because sometimes it blends a little bit better. Just going in and kind of, you know, doing it beforehand. And my powder is looking really white down here below my cheeks, where I kind of left that powder baking, but we'll fix all that. We'll get that blended in here in just a second. Alrighty. Alright, so the next thing I like to do is just put a little bit of like brow mascara, I guess it's called, the Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer in Soft Brown by Maybelline. And I just like to coat my eyes just a little bit. And it seems like for some reason it gives like my brow, like, I don't know, highlights, if that makes any sense. But it keeps them, you know, laid for my little 12-hour shift that I go in and do. And they just don't be all over the place. If anything is looking good at the end of the shift, my brows are. So, yeah, so I like this stuff. This stuff is really good. And this is what it looks like. Alrighty, so now for the eyes. I guess I'll do just a little bit of concealer on the eyes. I don't normally do a lot of that, just on occasion. And then I'll blend it out and set it with some powder. So like I said, I was at my cousin's wedding this past weekend, and I just really liked how my makeup turned out. And I got a lot of compliments on it, so I'm hoping that you guys will like it as well. So I'll move in a little bit closer so you guys can kind of see how the makeup is setting on the face. And you can still see the texture, but a lot of the discoloration and hyperpigmentation you don't really see. And that's without even spot correcting or color correcting with concealer or the orange color corrector that I used on my mustache. Alrighty, so we're gonna set that down with just a little bit of powder. And I'm trying to be really conscious of like what I do with my face. So I'm not like trying to scrunch up my face and while I'm doing things, because you know you don't be paying attention to what your lips and stuff be doing when you're like applying stuff, especially like liners. You just be doing what you do. All right, so the palette that I'm going to use today is the new Nude. This is the Huda Beauty palette. And I really like this because the color that we wore in her wedding was like kind of like the blush color that's like at the bottom of the palette. So I was like, oh, I really like, let's see what we can do about this. But one thing that I did do was I used a transition color from another palette. And what I used was the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. And I used, let's see, Peach Tea. And as you can see, I hit pan on this color. So this is like one of my my favorite transition color. And this palette just smells so good. So so what we'll use first will be, I really like this brush, and I think it came in like a Ipsy or BoxyCharm, one of the subscriptions. And it's just a little gold brush, and it's really fluffy, but it allows me to just kind of fluff this color. Just I can just fluff it on in there. And it just gives me that nice little coverage. And I just kind of do circular and then back and forth, circular and back and forth. I will say this, I'm not a makeup artist. This is just something I love. I don't do this for money or like as a side hustle or a profession, because I just love makeup. So I'm not going to pretend to be one of those professionals that, although I did do my niece's makeup for prom, so does that count? It just might. I don't know. What do y'all think? I think it should count. Daggone it. Oh, and the color I'm going in with now, I'm gonna start with Teddy. Can you guys see that? I'll be going in with Teddy and just gonna blend that really just right over top of that color. Just really just right, maybe just stand just a little bit below it, but just right over top of that. And it looks like I got like some type of rash or something on my eye. I don't know what that's from, but it could just be allergies. Yep. But yeah, she looked really good. But I have two nieces, both of which will be turning 18 this year. But one's a senior in high school, just graduated, and the other one is a junior, just because of how her birthday fell and when she was actually able to start school here in Virginia, where I'm from. So, and I'm just going to tap this kind of in this little area. And I'm trying to leave the lid as clean as possible, because I will be going in and, oh, yeah, I like that. Can y'all see that? They blend so nicely. So, and then I have a little baby niece who's not a baby anymore, but she's 8 years old. And I'll tell you what, these nieces, man, they can be expensive. Have any of y'all experienced expensive nieces? The next color I'm going in with is going to be Tease, this color right here. It's kind of like a mauve-y, like chocolatey brown like color. So this does have a little kickback, so I do tap off my brush. And I'm just going to kind of go, keep this kind of concentrated here. And for some reason I want to say for the wedding, I even went back in with the brown from that, that Just Peachy palette, just to deepen this up, but we'll see as we go. Kind of just recreating this off of memory. And I kind of just packed it on first and then kind of just spread it. And then kind of just brought it on into the crease a little bit. And I wore fake lashes too, which I definitely don't do that on a regular, and I'm probably not going to put them on for this video either. So I struggle with the application, so I'd be on here forever trying to get that right. And y'all would be so sick and tired of me working on these lashes, but I promise you, eventually I will master that. Alright, so I'm just going over with the other eye, trying to keep most of this lid space clean. One thing I like about this palette though, is kind of neat. I only used it because it's what I had getting ready for the wedding, but this little concealer that's right there, I used it to kind of just clean up my lid, because I'm going to go in with one of the shimmers and the glitters. So yeah, I used it with just to clean up my lid, and it did pretty good. Normally, you know, I would just use some type of concealer, or I don't really do like a true cut crease, I guess you would say. I'm definitely not a master of the eyeshadows. Let me not fool y'all with that one. But and then I'm just going back in with this brush that I used earlier, and I'm just going to sweep back over top of all that and try to just blend it just a little bit more. Alrighty, and then I think I went in with I tapped Raw and Love Bite together. Can you guys see that? Raw and Love Bite. How appropriate for the occasion. They've been bitten by love. Ooh, got excited right there. Slow down there, you. Yeah. So, and I know it's a lot of colors, but I hadn't played with this palette much, so I was just kind of like, eh. So I'm just going to recreate it just as I did it, just so I can kind of make sure I achieve the same look. You probably don't have to go in with all these colors, but I liked how it looked at the end, so I'm okay with that. I got a little excited on that one. Going back in with the same brush. No product, no added product, just cleaning it up. Just blending them in a little bit. Alright, so what I did with, just going to go ahead and do what I did the same as I did that day, is I took the concealer that's in the palette, used my pinky, and I just kind of cleaned up my lid. And I think it kind of just added to the tackiness to help with, I think I'm going to use this MAC brush, this 242 brush. I'm just going to use it to clean up a little bit. But I used my finger that day. And then I'll just spread it out. Pat it down. Now, and I think the other brush, this brush that I was using to apply some of the darker colors, is a MAC brush as well. I think that says it's a 217. As you can see, my brushes are definitely used. You know, when I first started doing makeup, I was like, oh, I gotta have a brush cleaner, and you know, I was going out buying all this stuff. Dawn dish detergent cleans my brushes better than anything else. If it'll cut the grease off your dishes, come on, it'll get the oil of the makeup out of these brushes. Okay, and so these have like some of the prettiest shimmers and glitters, and just going to show you guys some of them. Can y'all see that? Sheesh. What? We'll do this pink down here. And so I use a mixture of these two, and then I went in with a little bit of this glitter. Yes, yes. And it just turned out really good. I wasn't sure about the glitter because, you know, I just didn't have like glitter glue or anything like that. And I'm gonna lean over, I dropped my brush. Alrighty, so if I can remember right, I think I started with the shimmer called Crave. This one right here. And I just used my finger, just because I think it applied better. When I had like messed around with the palette before, I think it just applied better. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Ooh, ooh, girl, yes, I like that. Daydream, the one right below it. And I just kind of put that in between, like on top, just to bring in the other color. I think this is the one I used. It may have been the other one. Hold on, let's see. Let's see how this works out. Yeah, and then I think I put the red glitter on top of that. All right, so we're just gonna go back in with this same brush, no new product, and just kind of float that back in so we don't lose all that nice purpley mauve-y color that was there. Alrighty, so then next we're going to go in with the deep burgundy light color, Excite. And I just did a little bit. I didn't do a whole lot of this, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Kind of in the same area that the other one. And it will kind of go everywhere, so just know that. Maybe some glitter glue wouldn't be a bad idea, but I just didn't use any. And it was fine. Once I got it up there, it kind of just stayed. Okay. Let's see if I can get close enough for you guys to kind of get a nice little look. Alrighty, and then just for the under eye, I just kind of use a mixture of the last three colors that I used, which was Teddy, Tease, and Raw. So I started with Teddy, and then I mixed the other two. And just kind of went under my eye. There I go. And then I'll just mix the teas and blah. Let's see if I can do a little nice little pouty lip while I do this. Okay. And maybe you need a little bit of the Love Bite just out in the outer corner. Just not all the way across the bottom lash. Alright, and for the most part, the eye look is done for this palette. And so what I like to do with my brow is, like I said, I love Makeup Shayla. And this palette Perception, which I haven't got Proceed with Caution palette yet, but don't worry, I will. So I'm going to take the same MAC brush that I used to put that concealer on, just because normally I don't do that. So, and I like to take the color Unbothered, this top white color, Unbothered, and that's what I like to put on my brow. Just to kind of highlight it a little bit. And I'll blend it a little bit, but for the most part. And then I like to put just a tad right above it. Right above it. Yep. Same thing on this side. I have to try to be really careful not to get too draggy on it, you know. But I can, I tell you. And let's get this all settled in. And I use the Smashbox as well for the same thing. And just get that dry. Yep. And then sometimes I'll just kind of, if I see like big drops, I'll kind of go in and just kind of pat it in. So I don't want those big drops to, like, you know, leave spots on my makeup. Alrighty. So what I did for my lips was I lined with the Maybelline Color Sensation Shaping Lip Liner and raw chocolate. And so I do like to over you know, line my lips a little bit on the top, just because my top lip is a little smaller than the bottom. And I seen the trick that Kathleen Lights did, where she was like, you know, when you overdraw your lips, make sure you don't overdraw on the sides. You know, just kind of the top, and then just bring your sides back down where they normally would be. I was like, oh, okay. I can do that. All right. And some of these products I've had a while, and I don't know if you can still get this stuff. I'm hoping that you can. If anybody's like following me and was like, oh, I like that, let me go get that. And there's a few things I still need to do. So don't think I've forgotten. I'll get back to it. Okay. And so the lipstick that I used Saturday for the wedding was Quickie. ColourPop Quickie. This might be a Makeup Shayla one too. I have a few of their this is showing up different on camera than what I'm seeing in real life. That's okay. We'll try to fix the color. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. And I have my liner. Okay, so we'll go back in with the liner, the mascara, and do an inner corner highlight. And I'm gonna go in with this darker lip liner. I have no clue who it's by because I can't read any of the stuff. So, just to maybe pick this up on camera a little bit more. Alright, so the liner that I used was a chocolate liner by Marc Jacobs. I'm trying to see if I see the color on here. Earthquake. So the color is Earthquake. I mean, it's just one of their his gel liners. So yeah, and it's retractable. Can wind up, wind down. I did a wing liner that day, but I'm not doing it today. Just in a waterline and kind of smudged it down a little bit too. Alright, so the liner's done. The inner corner, I like to use the same palette that I use to highlight my brow bone, which is the Makeup Shayla palette with the unbothered color. I probably just got some eyeshadow dust in my cup of stuff over here. Alright, so inner highlight is done. And then mascara. And I like the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I love this. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But on my lower lash, I use the Mega Length Mascara by Wet n Wild. So a lot of Wet n Wild products in this video. But on my top lashes, I like to use the Better Than Sex. And sometimes, you know, this can get a little clumpy, so you have to really like try to keep your wand somewhat clean and not so clumpy. And so I'll just kind of work it really in good at that base and then come on up. Yep, cut these back lashes. Before it gets too clumpy, I'll move on. So that's one lash. I don't know if you guys can see it that good or not, but that's one coating. And to the other lash. And why does one lash always do better than the other? One always got to be acting a fool and not want to be right. Alright. And boom. Can you guys see that? Okay. And I may just go in with just a little second coat since I'm not going to put the lashes on today. And I use the Lily lashes at Sephora, the Paris one. That's the lash that I had for the wedding. So it was a Lily lash, and the name of it was Paris. But since I'm not going anywhere, I'm just doing this tutorial because this is my first one. So there you go. Lashes are done at the top, and then I go in with the Wet n Wild at the bottom. And then if you wanted to add a gloss, you can. Like I can see a gloss working. I don't think I did Saturday. Or maybe I did, I don't know. But yeah, you guys, this is the final look. Let me know what you think. And I just completed my first YouTube video. Am I too old? Did I wait too late? Let me know in the comments. Thank you.